What's up, guys? Joe Youngblood with Trouger Farms. I'm a habitat specialist with Whitetail Habitat Solutions alongside Jeff Sturgis and the gang. Hope everyone is doing well. Feels almost funny making these videos, being that when you see this, we might be just a few days from when the season actually starts. Just spending some time doing some video editing, getting things organized. This room is an absolute mess. Everything from trying to possibly get in a couple of hunts before I leave for Montana, and then I'll spend a good chunk of October in Montana on a nice archery elk hunt, so that'll be a lot of fun. It's basically right before the rifle season, so it'll be a little challenging, but a little cooler weather, which I'm hoping will be nice for me and also keep the elk moving, and also a time for maybe where some second rut action is going on. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's out there and moving. I haven't really done any elk hunting in quite some time. Would have been like 2011, 2012, so over 10 years, I want to say, since the last. I did shoot this antelope in Wyoming. That was also 10, 11, 12, somewhere right in there, and that was a lot of fun. Not with a bow, so excited to go back. So besides the editing, it's kind of chore time, cleanup time, maybe give you a couple of ideas to implement into what you should be thinking about or possibly getting squared away before the season. We're gonna go work on some equipment out here in a few minutes. This stuff is pretty much random as far as being scattered around. I have some stuff for, I just posted not too long ago like a knife sharpening thing, and definitely wanted to get some sausages made with some leftover ground meat that I have from last year, and before I get new meat from this year, hopefully, right? And just haven't had time, so kind of set that aside. Haven't even opened the box for the grinder, but I do have everything, and I've gotten everything put together for that. So that is kind of one activity before we get there. Washing our clothes, getting gear ready for Montana, but also just for our whitetail sits, making sure that we get everything in some kind of tote or bag, or if you're using ozone, anything like that, go ahead and wash those in your scentless stuff and get them squared away so they're ready to go. Some of that stuff, remember, you might need to air dry, so you need to give it a little time. As temperatures get cooler, they might not dry quite as quick. I hang a like a piece of paracord, but a clothesline in my garage, throw stuff on there, and I'll leave it out for up to a week or what have you. Throw it back in the bin, maybe with a dryer sheet, like a wooded, scent dryer sheet or fall, something like that. And then just kind of leave it in the bin. This stuff here, I actually just found going through my rack of stuff. Things like a large thing of paracord you can get off of Amazon. These kind of windy, who makes this? It's Hawk, easy twist rubber wire. And where this might come into play is if you want to attach things to packs, maybe use a saddle or a tree stand, and you want to be able to attach other objects silently. This is kind of, since it's rubber coated, I also use it for when I'm using a saddle and I want to clip to my waist like a climbing stick as I'm going up the tree. So I'm working on one stick, maybe I twist another stick or use some kind of carabiner with a lot of tape around it so that it's not making a lot of noise. I find that super helpful. However you do it, just make it as quiet as possible and as efficient as possible. I'm big on also one of Jeff's aspects where, you get to a tree, you get up and shut up, basically. You have most of your stuff, maybe you need to slip a jacket on, but you get up into the tree, you get your bow situated, and you're ready to go. I don't like to be fumbling around at the base of the tree, working on my gear. If I have to put other layers on for sweat purposes and things like that, I will, but I don't like to spend a lot of time doing that. And the same thing when I'm setting up a tree, like for a saddle, or I'm on public land, I'm way back. I want to have my saddle, my platform, my sticks on me, get up the tree, get it set up, and then be quiet. So as long as you focus on those things, you'll be better off in the woods when that time comes. Tape, things like that, whatever tape you use, doesn't necessarily have to be camo, but again, covering up a lot of those things. Oh, and stealth strips, same type tapes. This can be for buckle attachments like those, or just scraps that you can put on, again, sticks, anything that you think is going to be making a loud noise. You want to have situated, and this is stuff that really you guys don't want to be doing the night before. You've probably been there, the season's about to start, you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't gone through my backpack, my bino harness, what's in there, where are my tags, etc. So do it now. You're seeing this probably 3 days from the season or somewhere around there. bought these little clips. Dylan had found some bigger ones, so props to him, but these were some baby clips I got from Amazon, and that's what I use that paracord for, so I can make my own bow ropes. It's nice to have more than one bow rope. They're not very expensive. Sure, if you bought maybe a pack, but have a couple bow ropes, keep one in the truck, keep one in your pack or something, whether you're doing your possible land that you own, or you're going to hunt public land, or maybe you're out of state and you took a spur of the moment vacation. It's good to have a couple things that are super cheap you can make yourself, all right, with like that 550 paracord, and have a couple of those laying around. I've definitely run into a couple times where I didn't have it or wasn't in my pack and it was somewhere else. So speaking of packs, I don't always like to use a pack. I have a pack there for Montana that we'll be carrying out there, but if you guys don't want to carry a bunch of weight, or maybe it's early season, you don't need to bring a bunch of extra clothes, you can just tie something around your waist in case it gets chilly as it gets cooler. I also prefer to just use my pockets. I find that when I'm carrying my release, maybe a pull-up rope, if I had to, like I'm using a hang-on stand, wear my binos on, tie the other thing around my waist, carry my bow in, or use a bow sling. There's not too many other things I need on me. You don't have to be lugging these big packs out, guys. You can have everything on yourself, be more comfortable, walk out, bike out, and get situated. At most, I might carry like a small water bottle if it's just an early season hunt, or I need to clear my throat. Sometimes I use it for that, or I won't even use it at all, but like one of those small ones. And then later in the season, maybe I'll bring like a thermos. I'm going to sit with a blind, something a little more comfortable. But pick and choose your battles. This is something that I've realized over the last couple of years that I haven't really needed to bring as much as I always thought I did. And the whiteboard. Maybe I'll do a separate video on that later, but basically outlining things that I was finishing up this year, or maybe, even at the end of the season towards winter that I want to finish up for 23, and also the long list up there for 2024. I worry about forgetting things. There's an order of operations to things, and we show that in our videos. But I love to be organized. Even if you guys wanted your own whiteboard, your list, I have lists everywhere, things like that, but I love that so I can see and I can put things in chronological order, so that right after the season, winter's here, spring gets here, we're off to the races. You have stuff ordered, any trees that you want. You've taken care of stuff where you're going to be planting, maybe like switchgrass and so on and so forth. So let's get outside, work on a little equipment, and go from there. All right, guys, so what I was going to show you is that I like to get my sprayer home and actually put it inside. I find it easier just if you have a spot in the basement, a laundry room, a old storage thing that's going to stay heated. You can rinse this out. I unfortunately forgot the cord. It's on my ATV, so I knew that would come back to bite me in the butt. So I can't plug this in, but I will hook it up on top of something right in front, like a cooler or a bin or whatever, in front of my truck. I'll hook it onto my truck, pour some water in here, really get everything rinsed out, and just run it out the nozzles themselves. Then I'll do that a couple times, maybe put a little bit of Dawn dish soap. You can buy a Fimco solution that cleans it out, but they even told me themselves that Dawn soap works perfectly fine. So the last cycle through or so, I'll put a little just soap in there, clean it out, especially if you're going to be doing different chemicals next year. You want to make sure you're just not doing half glyphosate and half whatever the new chemical is. And then once that's done, I'll just carry it down to the basement, make sure it's not leaking, or put it on a towel, and I'll leave it there. No issues freezing. I've only had a couple minor issues with pumps before, and Fimco would either send me a new one or I was able to troubleshoot it myself. And I really tell you, I hate, any sort of plumbing and things like that. So if I can do it, I have faith in you guys. So just bear that in mind. So if you have one of these that's sitting around, instead of leaving it maybe to freeze in a garage or something that's not heated, think about getting it cleaned out and then storing it in somewhere if you have any space available, just to make your life easier. In the spring, I'll get it back out and hook it up to the ATV when I need it, and good to go. So hasn't been too much of an issue. And hopefully that's a good reminder for those of you that maybe want to winterize it. Now, if you don't do that and you don't put it into a heated area, what I would probably try and use is like an RV antifreeze, because those are left out. It seems to be a good option for stuff like this that's going to be left out to keep stuff from freezing and blowing out the pump and things of that nature. So give that a try as well, if that's just not going to be an option for you. But other than that, guys, the next video could be a little bit of action in the woods. So we'll see. Regardless, any questions, leave them in the comments, and we will see you next time. What's up, guys? We're in the basement on the bike. Thought I would mention something I've been thinking about, which is I recommend that you guys have some form of a secondary exercise. If your sport is jiu-jitsu or if your sport is running, whatever it may be, a lot of what we do is very hard on our joints. And it's nice that if it's not something you can do 6 days a week, then having a backup where it's low impact, you guys can still burn some calories and meet your other goals is super helpful, and it's going to help you participate in what you want in the long run. So I'm down here on the bike, and we're still getting it done on a Sunday. Go Lions.